Okay. Okay, so welcome to the Node.js Technical Steering Committee meeting for August 25th, 2021. We'll follow the agenda, which was tagged in the issue, which was number 1076. Before we get started, does anybody have any announcements they'd like to share? Okay, the first thing is CPC and board meeting updates. The one board meeting update I have is that the board meeting for this month is going to be canceled, but I don't think there was anything that we were, had on the agenda to bring up or anything on there from the Node project. So nothing on that fact. I don't know, Rich, if you have anything on the CPC side of things you want to bring people up to date on?
I don't think so. If something comes up, I will send it to the list or open an issue or something. But I have not come to this meeting prepared with my head wrapped around all the CPC issues. I'll get on that though.
Yeah. Okay. No. So thanks for stepping into that role. That's great. Okay. So let's move on to the issues we have tagged in the agenda. The first one is doc, anchor link parity between Markdown and HTML generated docs, number 39304. I'm just opening that up. Anybody who's got any context, discussion, whatever on that one, feel free to jump in as I quickly look to see where we're at on it.
And so I added it to the TSC agenda. I'm not sure that it's the TSC role to discuss that, but the collaborator was asking for more reviews, so I thought it would be a good way to add visibility. So basically what this PR is doing is it's changing all the links in the documentation, the Markdown documentation we have in the repo, to be compatible with the GitHub default link. So users could view the documentation either from GitHub UI or the web UI. And the cost of that, of course, is to break all the existing links. So in the PR, it's adding a hack to have both the old link and the new link working. So I guess it could work, but yeah, I'm not sure if I feel confident approving it. So I thought maybe we could discuss it here, or sending people to the PR to comment on it.
So sorry, I just, for the minutes I missed. Antoine, did you say you were not confident or were confident in that?
No, I'm not confident. I haven't approved it myself.
Okay. Okay, so basically, there's something in there, but like the hack part is not comforting in terms of it working properly.
And yeah, and backporting also might suffer from it. So maybe folks from the release group have thought on that.
Just a question. So all the links pointing will be broken?
So hopefully it won't be broken, because there's a in the HTML version there will be both the GitHub link and the old Node.js style link. Not sure if that's how to explain it in a clearer way.
So if a user would have pointed to a link previously from this landing, the link will still work?
Yes. Correct.
But it sounds like Antoine's not super comfortable that the way that that's being done is sort of safe and...
Yeah, there's probably edge cases that I'm not aware of.
I haven't looked at it yet, but are they doing it by just manually including the anchored tags?
Which anchor tag?
In the Markdown, are they just inserting the old anchor tags in there manually? I haven't looked at the PR. I guess I didn't look at the PR.
So no, it's replacing all the anchor with the GitHub compatible one, and then when we generate the HTML, it's adding the old anchor as well as the Give me one.
So I guess, right, so the concern is that it won't have added all the right anchors automatically necessarily.
Yeah, maybe there's some edge cases, or I don't know if there's a way to test it to improve the confidence.
And I guess your question about backporting is this something we would necessarily backport?
Yeah, that would be the question also. I'm not sure. If we don't backport it, it's gonna be harder to backport future doc changes. But I'm not sure if backporting it will be easy also.
I don't know, Beth, if you have any sense of how often do we backport doc changes?
I think in the cases where like a lint rule has changed everything, we try to backport it to all release lines, just because then when any new PR comes in, it's more likely to land cleanly. Otherwise,
okay.
we know we're going to hit a conflict on almost every PR because it's not adhering to the new lint rule or whatever.
And any similar minor PR that adds a new bit of documentation, we're likely going to end up with some backporting issues if we don't backport this.
Yep.
I would definitely say that if we do land this, backporting it would be required.
Yeah, and it will probably need like specific backports. It will not be as easy as just like fixing a couple of conflicts. It will need to be manually backported to the previous release lines.
Okay, so it sounds like basically on the backport side, like if we landed this, we should plan on backporting it as well.
Yeah.
But then we might know if there's a historic reason to use the node.js link style, or
I don't think so. I don't see a problem with using the new links there. The only concern I would have is just breaking the existing links. So if those are being inserted in, fantastic. There is a concern that anybody that has, no, as long as the links are being generated properly, those old tags are being generated properly, then I think that deals with that concern, and I don't think it's a problem here. Okay.
And the benefit is that now if you've got a Git clone, you can more easily use the docs without having to go to the,
There's
kind of-
no only links that will get broken are the links to the GitHub docs, and I don't think that anyone, I don't think that many people use that because they were already broken in the index on GitHub.
Right, so if you actually took a link and linked it to the docs in GitHub itself, that would be broken.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
'cause they wouldn't
that's
match,
mostly very rare thing. because the GitHub docs are not linked properly.
Is there any way to do or make any sense to do some sort of validation between the old and new website links or something, like they're being inserted, but Antoine, you mentioned maybe there's some edge cases. Is there any way something could go through the two and make sure they're the same, or does that make any sense? No sense?
Don't we already have links validation in Markdown linter? I think we did at some point, or I'm not sure if that was merged.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do have in the Markdown linter anchor link, hash link, whatever, checking, as well as broken link checking. We can confirm that, but I'm pretty sure. Antoine, do you know?
I think we have some kind of validation, but we've seen broken links anyway. So sometimes some errors slip through. So
It checks links within a document, but will not check hash links between documents. Is my understanding.
yeah, true. Yeah, but between Markdown documents, you check if the file exists.
Right. Yeah, but won't check the anchor hash thing, whatever it's called.
Right, and that would be checking something different as well, right? Like if we've inserted the new links, it doesn't validate that we got that right, did it?
This all be in the issue tracker?
Yes, if that is the case, like if we don't have that validation at the moment, so perhaps we could create an issue for that. That looks like something that could be like a good first issue or something like that, because it does not require deep understanding of the Node.js core, and it just requires working with remark, I think.
I was more wondering, like, if there's, if running something that says like, okay, we've generated the website beforehand, we've generated the website afterwards, do the links look the same between the two, if that gives us any more confidence? Or if that's an unreasonable thing to ask.
Can this discussion be continued on the issue, you think?
Would make sense.
I would probably also let other people to chime in.
Okay, so we can basically close out with the ask that discussion continues in the GitHub repo.
I can add a comment saying there's no one object to it, and maybe yeah, I can comment and remove the TSC leverage.
It sounds everybody's positive to the premise, just a little unsure about the edge cases.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is errors. Display Node.js version at the end of stack traces. This is 38332. I know that we discussed this in a past TSC meeting. I'm trying to remember what we agreed to do.
Yeah, sorry for the background noise. I have 20 kids here at home.
20, okay. Yeah, so I mean, I see the discussion that's gone on. We did discuss in a previous meeting, and the ask was that, some TSC members jump in and comment. What I don't see is any response from the, the person who was objecting. Basically Matteo, or sorry, not Matteo, Ruben, basically asked if he could elaborate on his -1, but I don't see any discussion since then. There was a discussion that the SIGIM was run and it broke tapes test suite. So in terms of unblocking this one, I guess it's, we have a couple choices. We can try and continue the discussion in the GitHub repo, although I don't see anything for the last 21 days. There wasn't a response to Ruben's request for some more elaboration. So I guess we could try and prod more discussion there, or we could decide that we need to, as a TSC, make a suggestion of the direction forward. I don't know what people think.
Is anyone still opposed to this? Like explicitly?
There's still the one person who has got a -1. I don't think we've got any TSC members who've said, jumped in and said, I see a couple of I don't have a strong opinion, don't have much of an opinion, a few comments, maybe suggestions for changes, but nothing that says, hey, opposed to this in general. But we do still have the original op who's not, has a -1 and hasn't waived that or.
Yeah, I think we asked for him to elaborate on his -1, and he has not done so for the last 3 weeks. So I guess we could override that change request. My main concern here is that we have 1 minus and a lot of plus/minus zeros.
Yep.
My feeling.
So, I mean, we could open an issue like a TSC issue that says let's override this objection. And if the TSC has consensus, then that, we post that in the issue and it can continue.
Yeah.
Does that align with what people are thinking here as the right next step?
Sorry, I just got back. Are you talking about an override on the errors?
Yes.
Issue? Okay, thank you. Yeah, no objection.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to, I'll volunteer Michael to create issue. Unless anybody else wants to do it, I'll volunteer to create an issue to basically say, we've discussed consensus for the people who were in the meeting is to override, and we'll give people say like a week at most to raise an objection. Otherwise, we'll say we have TSC consensus to do that. Make sense? Okay, let's move on to, sorry, let me just ignore that if I can. Okay, the next one on the agenda is rename default branch from master to main. I don't know if anybody has anything specific to bring up on that. I know I haven't gotten back to some of the repos that I'd sort of commented on, so still plan to do that. I'm just seeing if there's any more discussion, but otherwise it's sort of a longer term thing we've been working on.
Did we lose Miles? Yeah.
Yeah, Miles dropped off, had to drop off. So I think I'll just say no updates this week unless anybody has anything they want to add. Okay, let's move on to the next one then, which is migration of core modules to Primordials. This is number 30697. I'm trying to, I know there was a few meetings.
Garish posted something saying he was
Right.
going to miss the meeting and asking other attendees by name, I forget who, if they could do something. So,
Okay. I mean, I know there was at least, I think Jarish scheduled at least one meeting, right? But then there was still a follow-on to take place, right? So I would say, since we don't have Sharish, we just sort of leave it as work
Well,
in
let's-
progress until next time.
Hang on a second. Let me see what he posted. He said, I am chairing, he's in the diagnostics meeting, so can't
Yep.
make it. He's requesting Ruben or Tobias or Antoine or Targus to, Michael Zazo to share the essence of their discussion. So of those 4 people, I think we only have Antoine. So I don't know if Antoine wants to share the essence of the discussion or not.
So I missed a big chunk of the meeting, but the conclusion was we probably, the TSC will probably have to vote at some point because there is no consensus emerging so far, and I think we wanted to define different possibility for the TSC to vote. So either by meeting or by commenting, but this hasn't happened so far.
Okay, I mean, that's the second best possible outcome, you know, short of actually reaching consensus, is agreeing on what the reasonable possibilities to consider would be, and then asking the TSC to figure out what the one we prefer is.
That sounds good. Anything more to add on that before we move on to the next one? If not, let's move on to the next one, which is the Node.js Internet Bug Bounty 2.0. That one is basically the follow-on to, you know, the funding we currently get for our existing bug bounty was through the earlier version of this program. This is the follow-on that has, you know, a few different changes. And what we need is an answer in terms of whether we'd like to participate as a project. I did post at the bottom of that, you know, an at Node.js TSC. Are there any objections to people enrolling? You know, looking at the issue itself, I see 3 TSC members, including myself, saying that, you know, I see 3 saying makes sense, 1 person who's neutral, no objections. And we've had that, you know, at Node.js TSC mention open for 2 weeks, asking for objections, and we don't have any. So I'm thinking we should, you know, I'm thinking we as a group could figure out, like, do we think we've got consensus and it's okay for us to respond yes, or should we do
Yes.
something else?
Yes, I'm the neutral person, right? That you
Okay.
counted, right?
Yep. Yep, I think so.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks and several mentions at TSC meetings constitute acceptable consensus. I don't think we have to do. I think that's plenty of effort to get people to engage on the topic.
Okay.
So if somebody here has an objection to this, like, now's the time to say it.
Sorry, may name this because it was not clear. Are we still on sorry.
We're on the bug bounty.
Primordials.
No, we're on the
The
bug
Internet
bounty.
Bug Bounty.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. From my
Yeah.
point of view, it's I'm transparent. I open the issue. I don't, you know, I am.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. And if other people want to do it, then great. And if people have a problem with it, then I don't care if we don't do it. But
They want, it seems that the direction where they are going. So I would just say we should enroll.
yeah, let's try it. And if it doesn't work, we don't do it again. And if it works, then great.
Yeah, I think the other alternative is we can't give bounties out anymore. So as long as people
Which
think
is
that we
also
want to,
something, which is probably also something that we might want to consider.
that's probably the right time. Like if we have any thoughts about saying we don't want to give bounties, this would be the time to decline, right? Because if we do join, then the whole point is that we get money and get ways to give people bounties.
I think people have had plenty of opportunity to say they think we should stop giving bounties in that issue in the last couple of weeks. Now, if Mateo's saying that he thinks we should stop giving bounties, then let's
No.
Then
I am mentioning the fact I think we should keep doing bounties, but it might be something that we want to consider. specifically because giving bounties create a lot of copycats,
Low quality reports come in.
low
Yeah.
quality reports coming in. So, and people and just a wrong attitude from the hackers on, like, I have some specific comments that I you know, they are those are contributions done only for the money, and it's they are completely against the spirit of node.js.
Yeah, some of those reports definitely like increase the aggravation factor of managing the HackerOne, where it's just like, you know, hey, here's some tool I used. I don't understand the actual bug report, but it looks like you're vulnerable. I don't think we're vulnerable. This doesn't look right because A, B, and C. Can you explain why you think we're vulnerable? And the next comment is, can I get a bounty? It's like,
yeah, essentially. So that's you classified it very well, Rich. So that is my. On the other hand, I would I recognize the fact that being able to give bounties to certain problems, it's worthwhile. So yeah, I'm you know, it's
I think
I have the same thought as, like, you know, I've been asking, like, is this causing us more releases, more whatever? But like, if the question, if we still think we should do it, we should say yes. I hear people sharing some of my same concerns, but not saying we should basically jump at this point.
I don't think jumping at this point makes sense, because we need to have a really, really, like, all things being equal, we should do everything we can to get as many security issues reported to us in a timely fashion as possible. We should be doing everything we can to make Node as secure as possible. And so until, like, while the bounties have increased low quality reports that are aggravating and consume our time a bit, it's probably also produced some things that have been very valuable, and the aggravation and wasting of time is not yet so out of control that it's like we have to stop giving bounties now. We're not at that point.
Right. Yeah.
And so therefore, given those two things, I think we should err on the side of doing everything we can to be as secure as possible and continue giving bounties for the next, you know, period, and then evaluate again at that time is what I think.
Yeah, and I agree with
whether this is the right way to give bounties or not is an open question to me. I think it's okay, but I don't know. But yeah, if it's give bounties, if it's this or nothing, then let's do this. Yeah.
And that's yeah, I think I'm in your same mindset. Like, you know, we should be doing everything we can. It doesn't sound like it's not optimal, but we should keep going. So it sounds like everybody's, I haven't heard anybody say anything that changes yeah, we're in consensus, we should say yes, let's move forward. We may want to discuss whether we want to do this forever or how we do it, but that's a totally separate discussion.
As our resident security person, I wouldn't mind hearing Nikita's opinion, even if it's just yes, no, or I don't have an opinion.
I haven't been involved in Terrain the HackerOne report, so I can't really tell, but my default opinion is that we should still provide boundaries if we can do that. I need to get more involved with the HackerOne reports, I think.
Okay.
Okay, so I put in the minutes that the agreement is that we have consensus in the issue that we can say yes. So we can basically send that, you know, I'll post that in the issue, and I can ask if there's anything else they need from us in terms of confirmation or whatever. I'm just going to take a note there, Mike. So myself, Michael, post. Okay, so the next one is to be or not to be in core 1041. I know Danielle had scheduled one meeting where we had a discussion on that. I
think Robert can probably take this one, yeah?
Closed. Yep, sounds good.
Yeah, yeah, in the last meeting, we agreed that Danielle would open a discussion where we could start, lining up the pros and cons and different versions of that. Unfortunately, I missed her comment that she's done that. So I haven't filled in the things I had, and it seems nobody else have either. So I guess I would use this opportunity to remind everyone to please go to that discussion and start filling it in. And I see Rich seems to have a lot of fun with this, but yeah, apologies there, and hopefully we can have some more progress on that until next week.
Okay, so I've taken that in the minutes, put the link in there. Okay. That takes us to the strategic initiatives. We still have a few minutes, so let's jump over to that. So Antoine, anything on core promise APIs?
So not really. The readline promise API is PR is coming along. If folks want to give it some reviews, it would be great. But yeah, no other news.
Okay, I'm just putting that in there. Going through the list, James, I think, had to drop, right? And I think that's the end of the people we have in the strategic initiative. So it takes us to the end of that. Let me just take a quick look to see if there are any updates in the PR issue so I don't miss that, if there were. I don't see any others. So in that case, it takes us to the end of the agenda, I believe. Anything else that we should talk about before we close out? I guess not. So thanks for everybody's time and for everybody watching. Sorry we didn't get the live stream going because it conflicted with one of the other working group meetings. But hopefully watching it afterwards works out for you. So talk to everybody later. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.